Welcome to the latest edition of the Hudson County Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Haig, and as always, the Hudson County Sports Podcast is brought to you by Strulowitz and Gargiulo Twin Boro Physical Therapy, located in Hoboken and in Jersey City, and also Stan Sports Center, located in Hoboken, but also in Saddlebrook, and their warehouse in Boonton. My special guest today is somebody who's been a friend for a long time, but when he was a basketball player, first at St. Anthony's, and then he went to Mercer County College and Mercer County Community College, and they won the national championship when he was there. Then he went on to play at Hartwick and had a good career there. And then he came home and he was a coach at a couple stops, one particular being Ramapo. And he's just, his claim to fame, though, is defeating me head-to-head in the championship game of the Jersey City Recreation College Basketball Summer League in 1991. The team that I coached lost to the team that he coached, and he was lucky enough to have somebody named Terry DeHare on his team, but that's besides the point. But it's my good friend Rich Freda. And Richie, how are you doing today, buddy?
Very good, Jim. I remember that game very well. The only time we were leading that game was with 3 seconds left.
That's right. You also had a great player who played at LIU, Shannon Shell. Boy, oh boy, could he play.
Yeah, he was a great player, too.
Yeah, he surprised me how good he was there. And a lot of surprises in that league. There's no question. So, anyway, Rich, let's go back to your childhood. And where was it that you grew up? And was that when you first got your love of sports?
Yes, I grew up in the Marion section after being born downtown. At a young age, we moved to Marion. And my dad, Ugo, got me involved with basketball at Mount Carmel, a lady at Mount Carmel on Broadway. And I played little guys, Biddy, grammar school teams there, and won all championships at all 3 levels there.
What was it like in your neighborhood, Rich? Did you play a lot of sports with all the kids in your neighborhood?
Well, back in that day, Jim, everybody played at the local, playground, basketball, box ball, even in the street we played.
Right.
All games. So it was, back then, nobody locked their doors. Everybody was, friendly, and it was like all the kids on the block would play together. There was no animosity.
Okay. And did you play all sports back then when you were younger?
I played a little football, not like in a league per se, but later on I played with the Touch Tackle League in Bayonne, where we won the championship there, where Kenny Markowski was our quarterback.
Wow. All right. So what was it about the game of basketball that drew you to love that as much as you did?
Well, my dad was my little guy's coach. And
oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah. Yes, and we used to travel to the CYO and play there, and it was a lot of fun with the kids I grew up with in the Marion section. And then we went on to the Biddy, and we were coached by a great baseball player and Jersey City cop named Joey Parada. And I played with Bobby Valingo, Leo Cookie Burke, Marty Budnick, and a couple other guys. And we won the Biddy CYO championship.
Okay.
Then later on, at the grammar school level, I played for Tom Gaynor at Mount Carmel, who was a good friend of Don Matacola, who was the gym teacher and athletic director at Lady of Mount Carmel. And they also, we won the CYO championship, beating Bobby Hurley and St. Paul's in the championship game.
Okay, now talk a little bit about. There's a legendary name that gets glossed over a little bit. What was it like to play for Dominic Matacola, who was known throughout Jersey City as being a recreation guru, so to speak. So what was it like to play for him?
Well, he was a straightforward guy, took no nonsense, was a dear friend of my dad's and Tom Gaynor, and he was a disciplinarian, and you know what? He was good for the kids because they were directed the right way by him.
Okay. All right. So then, after you in eighth grade, you graduate, and it could have been very easy for you to go to one of the local schools. What was it like for you to choose to go to St. Anthony's?
Well, I had my heart set on going to Hudson Catholic, which was a brand new school at the time. But I was put on the waiting list, and as we played in the grammar school league in the CYO, this fellow named Tony Netzera was the athletic director of St. Anthony's. And
good man, Tony Netzera.
Very good man.
Right.
Just like Don Matacola, a no-nonsense guy, and just a beautiful human being. And he offered me a scholarship to St. Anthony's, so I accepted, and that's where I started my career in high school basketball. And freshman year, Tom Gaynor, who was my grammar school coach, was now the freshman coach at St. Anthony's.
Wow.
And we were city champs. We were 16-0. And Alan Pagano, myself, John Stefko, and Kenny Markowski, and Bob Morowski made up the group. And it was a dynamite team. We were unbeaten. So
it's a lot of talent on that team for a freshman team, that's for sure.
Yes.
Now, mind you, when you went to St. Anthony's, there was no hint of Bob Hurley being the head coach there, right?
No, he wasn't even on the program when I was a freshman. My sophomore year.
Who was the head coach? John Ryan?
John Ryan was the head coach. George Salino from Dickinson, he was a teacher, was the assistant coach. He coached the JV, junior varsity. Okay. So sophomore year, I played on the junior varsity and was a substitute on the varsity. And we were parochial C champs that year, the first championship team for St. Anthony's in their history. And Bob Hurley was now the freshman coach because Tom Gaynor got the Hudson Catholic job.
Okay. And then how quickly did you move up from JV to varsity?
Well, junior year, I started playing a lot more, and we won the championship again in my junior year. And it was a great honor to play for John Ryan. He was a good guy, and he was a hell of a coach.
And you won the parochial C state championship that year?
Yes, that was 2 times, 67 and 69. We won the first 2 parochial C championships that St. Anthony's had. So, then senior year, we didn't have a guy over 6'2", and I played center. And we were 21. We were 21-2. We lost to Lincoln, who was a loaded squad. They were big. We didn't have any size, so they beat us up a little bit at Lincoln. And that was our only loss in Hudson County. And then we played in the North Final of the parochial seed, and we lost to Our Lady of the Valley to another great coach that coached St. Peter's College, and you know him.
Teddy Fiore.
Yep, Teddy Fiore.
Yep, he's my friend. So, all right. So what was it? Why was it? How in the world did you get involved with going from Jersey City to Mercer County College?
There was a scout back then that was friends with my father and Tony Nicodemo, who was another great guy.
Absolutely. The Tiger. The Tiger.
The Tiger, yep. They knew of Howie Landa-led down in Mercer County College, and he was a great basketball coach in his own right. And they offered me to come down there, and I said, okay, I'll give it a try because I figured I'd get I was thin back then, and I wasn't like filled out. So I said maybe this is the best road I should go.
Okay.
So I went down there freshman year, and I played a lot, but I wasn't happy yet with the conditions of where we were living. So I didn't go back my second year. I had to make up grades to go back for my second year because I was, disheartened by the situation down there with the housing. So I came back, and next year I started playing in the number 11 school senior league, and none other than Eddie Ford gave me a boot in the ass and said, "When are you going back to school?" And my dad was right there. And it was pretty funny at the time. And I said, "I'm looking to go back down there to make up my grades in the summer and go to summer school and become eligible for my sophomore year."
Oh, that was the plan all along. It was to go back to Mercer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because a lot of other kids, they go to one of these community colleges and they last 1 year and then they say the hell with it and they come home and then they think that the grass is always greener at home and they find out that it's not, and they don't have a job, they don't have education, and they end up having to do manual labor for the rest of their life, and that's not good. That was not going to be your choice. You wanted to play ball, right?
Well, it was a blessing in disguise because I did fill out better. I averaged about 28 points a game, 30 points a game in that league with the Harry Lorleys, Charlie Brown, the Martinick brothers. Pete O'Day was in that league. There was like a lot of good players in that league. Aaron Stewart. So it made me a man, more or less.
Okay.
So, and it was great competition. So I called Howie Landa and I told him what my plan was. And he says, "Well, we just lost in the regional finals and we got 4 guards returning." I says, "Okay." And I know some of them were from Jersey City, John Ford and Mel Weldon. And now Marty Prendergast was going down there and Mike Leapart from Fair. So I was the 5th Jersey City person to be on that team. And 3 of us started, me, Marty Prendergast, and Mel. Mel was the MVP of the whole country that year.
Yep. How great of a player was he? Mel
was lightning quick, a great friend, a great basketball player, and a great person. Me and him really played good defense, and we used to, have multi-steals without press all the time because he was so lightning quick.
All right. Did you have any idea, Richie, that year you guys could make it? First of all, to make it out of the region is really, really tough because that was a really, really competitive region. And then second of all, to go on and win the national championship.
Well, Howie Landa had us all sign an agreement to be a Howie Landa player, and to be a Landa player is to be a gentleman at all times and be honest and be a tiger on the court and play together. And he put a couple of, items what he thought we could do as winning. So we put the Garden State Conference, which we won, the regional tournament, which we won, and to play in the national championship game. Not to say win it, but to play in it. So we got to that national championship game, and everybody before the game, we forgot about this paper that we signed early. That this would be like when we first practiced, and before the season started. And they handed out that piece of paper to every one of them, every one of the players.
Okay.
And then we all read it again. And then he looked at us and he said, "Well, I asked you to do this. You got me here." He says, "Now, there's 10,000 fans out there, and we got maybe 3, which 2 of them are my father and my brother. And go out there and win the national championships for yourselves. You got me here. Do it for yourselves. It's not going to be easy because we were 12-point underdogs. They had a good team.
Somebody put a spread on the game? Where'd you get the spread?
Well, that my dad told me that.
Oh,
it was
okay.
in the Hutchinson News
The
at that
Hutchinson News. Okay.
So, and we wound up beating them by 19, and I had the most points in the game, 23. And it was a great evening. We won by 19 points. We beat them pretty good at their home court.
Wow.
They were coached by a pretty good coach that coached a long time at Purdue, Gene Cady.
Yep. Okay. We'll be back with more with Richie Freda, talking a little bit about his career after this message from Strulowitz and Gargiulo. For over 40 years, Strulowitz and Gargiulo Twin Boro Physical Therapy has been caring for Hudson County with modern state-of-the-art offices in Jersey City, Bayonne, and Hoboken. You could count on Carl Gargiulo and his highly trained, experienced staff of physical and occupational therapists to help you recover from an injury, get post-operative care, or reduce your pain and help you get back to doing the things you love to do. From back pain to balance difficulties, sports injuries to joint replacements, Carl and his staff will help you regain movement, resume activities you love, and capture your independence. Carl's number is 201-792-3840. Please feel free to call Carl directly with any questions and visit their Hudson County offices or any of the other 42 Twin Boro locations located throughout New Jersey. To learn more about Twin Boro Physical Therapy, please visit the website at twinboro.com. Strulowitz and Gargiulo Twin Boro Physical Therapy is an in-network provider accepting all major insurances. And I could say not only is Strulowitz and Gargiulo a sponsor of the podcast, but I'm also a client. I've been going to Strulowitz and Gargiulo regularly for the last going on 9 years, and I owe my ability to walk to Carl Gargiulo. That's how great of a job he did. I went in as somebody who couldn't walk at all, and then he helped me regain my mobility and be able to move. So I'm still trying, but I owe a lot to Carl and his staff, including like Sue Schneider and his other people that are there. It's just a great place. So Strulowitz and Gargiulo, Twin Boro Physical Therapy, and I'm proud that they're one of the sponsors of the Hudson County Sports Podcast. All right, we're back with our special guest today, Rich Freda, and he's talking a little bit about going to Mercer County Community College and taking them to the national championship game and winning. And who did you play in the finals, Rich?
We played Hutchinson, the home team.
Played Hutchinson on their home court?
On their home court.
Wow. That must have been wild, huh?
Yeah, it was like, before we left the locker room, Howie Landa said, listen, you're going to get booed. We're going to be the first team out there. He says, raise your hands, like, let them boo louder. Make believe they're cheering for you. So that's what we did. So we were psyched by Howie with that letter, and knowing that to go out there and win the game for ourselves, and we got the coach where he wanted to be.
Okay. And you, like you said, you scored 23 points in the national championship game, but you didn't get the MVP. How come?
Well, Mel got the MVP. He had 21 in the game.
Oh, okay.
And he had better scoring games in the first 3 rounds. So, I mean, we beat Ricky Sobers in the first round. Southern Idaho, a team from Southern Idaho. They had a good team, too. We won by 2 points in overtime in that game, the first game in the tournament.
Ricky Sobers, who had a great career in the NBA, mostly with the Phoenix Suns. What school did he play for?
I think he went to Arizona after that.
Okay. All right. And then who'd you beat in the second round?
We beat Ulster County Community College. They had a guard named Jackie Knowles that was pretty good. We beat them during the regular season also, and we beat them in the second round pretty handily.
Okay.
In third round, we played Vincennes, the defending champs.
Wow, from Indiana. That's a powerhouse.
Powerhouse team. They were big. They had kid Phil Spence that played at North Carolina State with the great teams there.
Yep.
And they had a great guard, too. I forget his name.
That's okay.
But
So that was a great run in the tournament, no question. And back and forth across the country. That must have been wild to travel, no?
Yep. I mean, it was like a dream, Jim. I mean, winning a national championship in front of their own fans was like, there was nothing better.
Did you travel like that at all in your life? I mean, you're a kid from Jersey City, modest means. Did you ever get a chance to, get on a plane and go to like a place like that, like going to Kansas to play?
No, we went before that. We grew up as a team. I tell you, we were 34-3, our total record, and we had a 7-game swing in Florida. For 2 weeks we were playing in Florida. That was during.
And you stayed in Florida throughout that trip, then, huh?
Throughout that trip, and we lost 3 games down there by 1 point, by 2 points, and by 3 points. But that's where we grew up as a team. We came together and said, we're not going to lose anymore. So,
and you didn't.
And we didn't. And Howie, he like the schedule was perfect. He knew we had to be together away for a while and grow as a team, hang out, eat together, be together, and that's why we were champs, because we were so close.
How wild is it that this team from Mercer County College in Trenton was able to have, when they were all totaled, 5 guys from Jersey City that were on that team, including 3 starters, you, Mel Weldon, and Marty Pendergast.
And Mike Leaport played a lot, and John Ford was three Ferris guys. Mel Weldon, John Ford, Mike Leaport, and Marty Pendergast from St. Al's, and myself.
Pretty wild that there were 5 guys from Jersey City on the national champions, no?
Yeah, Marty Pendergast and Leaport the following year won it again, the national championship. They won back-to-back.
Oh, did they really? Wow, okay.
Yes.
All right, so now you're done with JUCO, and now you got to make a decision to go to a 4-year school. And how was the recruiting for you to go to a 4-year school? Were there a lot of schools interested in you?
Well, right after the championship game, University of Tennessee, Georgia Tech, Lefty Drizel was always at our practices. He wanted Mel Weldon so bad, but Mel wound up going to Boston College and having a great career there. And Lefty said, well, Mel's not coming. You want to come down and play with us? You're welcome. You had a great game. And I said...
Was Lefty already at Maryland?
Yeah, he was at Maryland. And John Lucas was there.
Right.
And he says, you can play behind John Lucas. I said, you already got me slated to sit the bench. I said, Coach, I'd rather not. So I didn't take him. So even St. Peter's College came up to me, Bernie Akin, and I decided to go away, which is upstate New York. But I had a great coach named Maury Chipman, assistant coach Nick Lambros, and great guys. And
So what made you decide on Hartwick?
Well, again, friendships. Donald Copeland Sr. and Bill Stretch Martin from Lincoln were up there already, and they enticed me to go up there and visit. They loved it up there, and we were Division II powerhouse, and we were 24-3 our junior year. We lost to Marvin Webster and Morgan State in the quarterfinals by 4 points, and we could actually won the Division II title if we had beaten Morgan State, because they wound up trouncing the next two games.
Wow. All right. So did you have a good run at Hartwick? Did you like being up there?
Yeah, I tell you, it's a quaint town. It's a college town. Only out of states there is Delhi Community College up there, and it's a fun little town and a little cold, and a lot of snow. It was fun.
Didn't they also have a great...
It's fun when you got other friends, like Jersey City friends, surrounding you. So after my senior year, we made the tournament again, but we lost to John Chaney and Chaney State. And after that, me and Donald were still staying up on the honor, and we got offered to coach the JV team by Roy Chipman the following year.
Okay. And didn't Roy leave Hartwick and then go to the University of Pittsburgh?
Roy left Hartwick the year we JV coaches and assisted to the varsity. He went to Lafayette first.
Oh, okay.
I think for 3 years. And then University of Pittsburgh hired him.
All right, so now
in between that time, I was coaching at Ramapo when he was at.
All right.
So he gets Roy Chipman gets the Pittsburgh job.
You're breaking up, Rich.
Roy Chipman asked me to send the resume because he wanted me one of his assistants. So I sent my resume. I thought I was a shoo-in because I coached with him and played for him, a new assistant. But the president of the school and the athletic director wanted to seek somebody that was local from the Pittsburgh area, and that guy was named John Calipari.
Huh. You got beat out for a job by John Calipari. Pretty amazing.
Yep.
All right. How? Who was the head coach at Ramapo when you were there? And you were there for what? 4 years?
Yeah, Bobby Martin.
Oh, Bobby Martin was. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bobby Martin's. He was the Dickinson coach when they won the county there with Benny Allen and Dave Emanuel and that guy.
Bobby Martin was a great player in his heyday. You know, he played on the same teams with Mike Rooney, but you know, it gets lost in the shuffle how great Bobby Martin was as a player because Rooney was on the floor at the same time, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So you stayed at Ramapo for 4 years as a coach,
yep.
and you got bumped out by Calipari at Pitt. How were you then sold on going into another field, or were you wanted to be a coach somewhere?
I still wanted to coach, so I actually applied for the Hudson Catholic head job after Rocky retired and Tom Gaynor was gone, and even the father himself supported me and told me that I should put in for the job. He says, and I'll support you. But they gave the job to a good friend of mine also named Bobby Ryan.
Okay.
And it lost out because he was a graduate of Hudson at the time.
Okay. So at that point, did you think your coaching career was over?
Well, I got disheartened when I didn't get the Pittsburgh job over, like they say, politics.
Yep.
So I said that, you know what, let me just work for a while and see if I want to coach again. So that's when I started coaching recreation-wise and stuff like that, and I got to beat your pants up in the championship game by a mere point.
That's something you never let me live down. Never.
Oh.
30 years after the fact, and you still don't let me live it down. So, so you took a job with the city right away, or did you work?
No, I
worked first.
I worked for Unisys Corporation at Secaucus. I was a logistics manager in the warehouse there, and they closed up the warehouse. And then I helped Jerry McCann a little bit with the election back in '89. In 1990, I was hired by Jerry to be at that time, Jersey City had their own water department, and I was made the supervisor of the meter shop.
Okay. Looking back at it now, and hold on, we're going to take our last commercial break. So we'll be back with to close up with Rich Freda in just a little bit after this message from Stan Sports Center. Stan Sports Center is your local full-service sporting goods vendor and authorized team dealer. They offer quality products and dozens of brands to outfit your team top to bottom. Stan's has proudly been supporting the local community since 1946 and is your one-stop shop for uniforms, equipment, online team stores, and so much more. Locations in Hoboken and Saddlebrook and the new warehouse in Boonton, and servicing the entire tri-state area. Visit them on the web at Stans, that's Stans plural, sports plural, CTR.com. Again, Stans plural, sports plural, CTR.com. And check them out on social media for their latest creations. That's Stan Sports Center, located at 528 Washington Street in Hoboken. The telephone number there, 201-798-4466. And if you go to Stan's in Hoboken and you mention that you listen to the Hudson County Sports Podcast with Rich Freda, you will get 10% off of anything that's retail in the store. Not a bad deal whatsoever. So check it out. Go to Stan's at 528 Washington Street in Hoboken and tell them that you listen to the Hudson County Sports Podcast. All right, we're finishing up with Richie Freda. And Rich, after your coaching career was done and you started to work for the water department, was there ever an itch that you had that you want to get back into it?
Well, I can tell you, I helped Bobby Hurley at times going to not to recruit, but to go to games and scout games.
Okay.
And he would let me do the scouting report in front of the team, and we beat St. Pat's one year when they were, I think, a little bit better than us. And I came up with a game plan, and they followed it to a T, and we won the game. And even Chris, his wife, came up to me after the game. That was the best scouting report I ever heard.
Wow.
So
was that the St. Pat's team that was ranked number 1 in the country?
Yes.
Okay, and you had Kyle Anderson and Miles Mack?
Yeah. We I scouted them 3 times, and
okay.
I guess Kevin Boyle won't like me anymore.
And Kevin Boyle, that it forced him out of coaching in New Jersey, and he had to go take the job at Monteverde in Florida. And the amazing thing about that game is that when the fourth quarter started, Coach Hurley threw the amoeba defense at St. Pat's, and Kid Gilchrist had no idea how to defend what was going on there. He kept getting further and further away from the basket, and St. Anthony's just blew them away in the fourth quarter, and that was a great, great win. And that's one of the greatest coaching jobs I've ever seen in my 40-plus years of watching high school basketball in the state. That was an amazing
I think Lucky Jones did a good job on him, too.
Yes, absolutely. He did, but kept forcing him out further and further. So, all right, looking back at it, Richie, you look back at your career and you say how fortunate you were to be, to grow up in the area that you grew up in and to get the opportunity to not only to play on the highest level, but also to coach a little bit too. Do you feel very fortunate to be able to do that?
Very fortunate. Sports was a great outlet back then, and still is for the youth of America, and especially in this county because it's the hotbed for basketball. And look at St. Peter's University, what they did this year.
Yeah, amazing.
And they're going to be honored along with myself October 13th for the Hudson County Hall of Fame.
Oh, you're getting into the Hudson County Hall of Fame. That's great.
Yes. October 13th, going in.
Congratulations.
So that's an honor.
Well deserved. Well deserved. So, and that dinner is going to be held at St. Peter's University's McMahon Center.
Yes.
And tickets are available. And if anybody needs tickets, they can call the Hudson County Parks office, and they'll be able to hook you up with tickets. So, all in all, Richie, looking back, you've had a great career that's involved with sports. You've been playing sports your entire life. And looking back at it, do you say to yourself, wow, I had a pretty good run?
Yes, I did have a pretty good run. And I stayed in Jersey City for most of my life and love it here still. And I have two great sisters, Pat and Elisa, who always supported me, and my brother John, who was a very big sports guy himself. He was a great boxer. He was the light heavyweight Golden Glove champ in New Jersey, and he was 8-1-1 as a pro, and he's on the list of maybe inductees to New Jersey Boxing Hall of Fame. So hopefully he gets in this year.
Okay. So all in all, you know, just a great life, right? No qualms, no anything.
Nope. I've had a little problem with a prostate cancer, but I'll get through it like I got through everything else. But I got to mention my partner Bobby. She's through with me through thick and thin with everything that I went through, and she's just an angel on my shoulder. The other thing is, I'd like to take a little time to just say that the two sponsors you have, Danny down in the Sports Center, and Carl Gargiulo, who's a dynamite guy and a great Fryer fan. And I went to him numerous times for some remedies of broken bones and stuff like that, but he's another great guy. So you got two great sponsors, and I'm glad that they're supporting you.
Amen. There's no question. They you know, without them, there would not be a Hudson County Sports Podcast. It couldn't exist. So.
And to say, my best friend, Kenny Markowski, I was so disheartened when he moved down to Carolina, but we still stay in touch, and he's the greatest. He was a great basketball player in his own right.
Amen. Amen. And he's going to be a little upset with me, and I don't care that you went first before he did on the podcast. So I kept calling him, saying, Marco, you know, you got to get on, and he keeps blowing me off. So you didn't, and you beat him to the punch. So, and well deserved. I'm glad you got a chance to get there before he did.
Okay, Jim.
All right, Richie, thank you so very much for taking a few minutes to talk to me today and to help out the Hudson County Sports Podcast. You were a great guest.
Thank you.
All right.
Get well, my friend.
You too. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And that was my special guest, Rich Freda, who went from St. Anthony's to Mercer County Community College, led them to the national championship in junior college. Then he went to Hartwick College in Oneonta, New York, and then was a coach at Ramapo, and then came back home to Jersey City. Thank you very much for listening to this week's Hudson County Sports Podcast. Again, a special thanks to our two sponsors, Strulowitz and Gargiulo Twin Boro Physical Therapy and Stan Sports Center. Without them, there would not be a Hudson County Sports Podcast. And a special thanks to my executive producer, Johnny Haig, my great nephew, who set up everything for me to be able to have the Hudson County Sports Podcast. Without him, it wouldn't exist. So anyway, thank you very much for listening today. We'll have another edition sometime soon. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.